right, so welcome back to the Word Magic podcast. Today, I am bringing on Manuj, who is an incredible human who I have met, who does AI. I don't understand all of what he does. He's going to tell us what he does, and then we're going to break down how AI works in terms of writing and publishing and the industry as it stands and where we might see it going in the future. So,
Sure.
Manuj, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thanks. So a little bit about me. My name is Manuj. I've been in technology for 30 years. I run my own software consulting company called Tetranurul Technologies, and we've been around for 25 years. Worked with hundreds of startups, Fortune 500 companies like Microsoft, IBM, T-Mobile. We have produced over $500 million in value for our clients. I have 4 patents in AI, written 2 books on technology. And yeah, I mean, technology is fun. So I say to people, we make their dreams come true because every business is a technology business now. So if you can dream it, we can build it.
Absolutely. And for the longest time, I remember when AI was first coming out and was really getting popular, you and I actually sat at a round table together and you said, how are you experiencing AI and how has it changed the game in your industry? And I was like, oh my gosh, it has changed my industry so much.
Mm-hmm.
And not necessarily in a good way to start, but we're now seeing it start to roll out in much better ways. So let's talk about it from a writing perspective for a second. So how do you see that people should be using AI in order to write their books, or should they be using it to write their books?
Absolutely. See, I'll give you a few quotations, and these are not my words. These are words from people who are much more informed and successful than I am. So Sundar Pichai, who's the CEO of Google, he has said that AI is going to have more implications for humanity than fire or electricity. Okay. So, meaning, if you can imagine your life without things like fire or electricity or the wheel, then you can imagine your life without AI. And the misconception people seem to have is that AI just landed on our doorsteps in 2022 with ChatGPT. No, it has been around since the 60s. Okay, and if you have ever you took out your mobile phone from your pocket to do something, send an email,
In this one?
yeah, look up directions, whatever, even take a photo, you have been using AI for the
Mhm.
longest time. If you have ordered something on Amazon, your package was delivered to your doorstep in one day because of AI. If you have logged into Twitter or Facebook, it's all AI. So the key is now with ChatGPT, everybody has access to this technology. So to sum up the answer, yes, definitely you should be using AI everywhere, because if you don't, your competitors are going to use it and you're going to fall behind. Now, the question is, what is the right way to use it and what is the wrong
Yes.
way to use it, right?
Yes.
So shall we go into that?
Oh, please. Like,
Yeah.
I want to know the right and wrongs, according to the AI expert. I have my own opinions on this, but I
See,
want to say for
so the thing is that again, taking the same analogy, let's say I go watch a car race, and there are 20 drivers in the car race. Pretty much every car is is not any different from another car. In fact, many of the 20 race car drivers will have exactly the same car, yet only one person wins. So my point is, it's not the equipment or the tool that wins, it's the human behind the tool that wins. So always use AI as a tool and bring out your unique personality, your unique style, your unique experiences. Because if you don't do that, AI is going to just give you like all the gobbledygook that it is going to give you to other a million writers out there. So
absolutely.
just like, again, another analogy will be, let's say you are a painter, you could paint your own unique creation
Mhm.
using some hairbrush from tail of a horse, or you can buy the best painting brush, again,
Yeah.
made from silk or whatever, or you could replicate a Monet's painting. The tools are not what makes you successful as a painter. It's your creativity and what you want to do with it, and then how you want to use those tools to save your time, or think of better ideas, or paint better analogies, those kind of things will really help you get ahead, right?
And this is where you and I actually completely agree. I think that, when we first talked about it, I was like, oh, the landscape's changing. A lot of people are shifting and trying to use AI to take over my role. And a lot of people did initially. That was a very real thing that happened in the writing industry. And what we found was, right? Like, when AI has written something. It is very obvious when AI has written something. And there are incredible humans like you who are working to make it more personal and to really train it from each individual perspective so it sounds more like you and whatever. But still, and you've given me this advice often, is if you have a client who used it, they still have to edit the heck out of it to add their own humanity, their own personality, their own humor back into it, because AI is crowdsourced and it learns only so much, but it doesn't know you specifically. It just knows in general how humans speak and interact and engage. But it's often learning from, famous works. It's learning from educational papers. I don't know about you, but the last book I wrote did not sound like an educational paper wrote it,
Exactly.
right? Like, it sounded like a human wrote it. So it's important that we bring the humanity back to that. I love that. Let's dive into, from a writing perspective, yes, like, obviously use it to help you with plot lines and structure and strategy and ideas and metaphors and all that beautiful stuff. I love that. What are you seeing with it in the role in publishing? Because I'm hearing from my publishers that it is now the go-to place where, when they get a manuscript, they run it through AI first, and they're checking to see, the pacing, the plot structure, they're predicting all the reader engagement on it. And they're actually using AI algorithms now to predict bestsellers by actually predicting and analyzing our reading behaviors. Are you seeing this, and where is that going to go?
Okay, so let's break it down, right? So the first thing is AI works on data, a lot of data. And that data can be used in many, many ways. One is to understand what the trends are, and then write those trends. So, recently I read, I think maybe a year ago, I read the autobiography of Will Smith. Okay. And in that, he describes how he rose to stardom. Basically, he had two or three of his friends, and they analyzed each and every super hit movie for the past 25 years. And
Interesting.
they said, what are the main components of a movie which is super hit? Okay. And they came up with 3 or 4 different attributes, like, okay, it's an inspirational movie, it's a focused on a particular strong male character, blah blah, whatever, right? So then they said, okay, so these are the kind of movies that are super hit, so we will only accept these kind of movie offers. Okay. So Will Smith was offered a movie for about $10 million. And his friend said, no, this is not matching the criteria that we determined that's going to be a super hit movie. So you should say no. And in that book, he goes into length of how difficult was it for him to say no to $10 million, because he trusted data. Okay. So it's not difficult to go and say, give me a list of 200 bestsellers, and then analyze what are the common attributes of these books and the authors behind it and the seasonality and the whatever attributes that you think are important to your industry. How do you think Amazon has become the best, the biggest company in the world, with biggest retailer in the world within 15 years, beating out Walmart, which was the granddaddy of all retail stores, right? Because they analyze each and every piece of data, who is buying at what price, and all of these things. Google is doing the same thing. So you see, larger companies have been doing this forever, and that's how they became a $1 trillion business, right?
I love it.
So you can do that everywhere in every industry, if you really understand, okay, this is how you collect the data, this is how you analyze it, and this is how you draw conclusions from it, and benefit from it.
I love that. And there's also an opportunity then for you as an author if you're pitching publishers, to even ask AI for information about those publishers and what market are they serving and who their audience is, right? So you can target your agents and your publishers when you go to make a pitch
Absolutely.
better, courtesy of AI.
Let me give you another trick here. A lot of people get wrapped up into, how do I pitch to publishers? How do I pitch to agents? But coming back to my point about humanity, let's forget about the titles for 1 second.
Mhm.
You are pitching to a human being. Okay.
Absolutely.
So all it takes, let's say if I'm pitching to a publisher or an agent, all it takes for me is to go to their LinkedIn profile, scrape some of their data, like about their about section or a recent post or whatever. Use AI to personalize your approach and say, hey, I came across your recent post. You were in New Zealand. I hope you had a great trip. That reminds me, I've written a story about my visit to New Zealand. Here it is. And if you do that multiple times, your conversion rate or response rate or your success rate will go through the roof, because you will stand out immediately and make a connection, a personal connection with whoever you are trying to do business with.
Absolutely.
And then you add on top of that, these smart layers of understanding what is a bestseller like and whatnot. I can guarantee, like, if somebody is dedicated enough, I mean, I'm happy to help in this quest. But they can become the #1 author and like even get nominated for a Nobel Prize if they work hard enough to figure out how data can be used.
That's amazing. And you're right. Like, this is, I mean, going old school, pre AI ability for the average human. Somebody like me as a ghostwriter, I would be asked all the time about how do I get an agent, how do I get a publisher, all that sort of stuff. And I would tell them the exact same thing that you're telling them. We just had to do it manually.
Yeah.
It's a manually scrape and look through social media. And this is back in the days before even social existed. So I had to actually pick up a phone and talk
Yeah.
to try and get information and try to build that process. So this has completely streamlined it. I love that. I don't want to keep you too much longer. I know we have so much to go through. This will probably end up being like 5 episodes by the time we're done. But let's talk about some of the future trends and predictions. Like, what do you see happening in the land of AI when it comes to writing and books? Is it going to be about co-authorship? Where's it headed?
See, please don't shoot the messenger here. So if I say something, demoralizing, don't please. I'm just looking at the data. Okay. So the thing is, printing press was invented in 1500s or so, and that was the main medium of communication between humans, right? Now the thing is, books are very powerful. They are sort of what I call it, like they are condensed and frozen thoughts of another human being injected into your mind, right, through time. The thing is that we humans want a lot of engagement, and our minds are always on hyperdrive with the world that we live in. So words alone don't satisfy us anymore. That's why we invented things like sound and video and now immersive reality and augmented reality. So in my opinion, we are going into a world where words are not going to be enough. Storytelling will never go away, but you will need to create more immersive experiences. So I say the books, the realm of books, cinema, video games, augmented reality is all going to sort of immerse into new ways of experiencing the world, experiencing life, experiencing each other's experiences. So at the very least, I will say, and we test it in our work. We are an engineering company, and our slides, when we used to present it to our clients, used to be like dry, dry, very dry, like tables and flow charts and whatnot. And we recently replaced it with very personable visuals generated by AI, very human focused and very little text. And now those presentations are doing much better. In fact, one of our Fortune 500 clients, senior vice president, after looking through the slide deck, she said that this was very memorable for me. And could you please send me a few of those photos, because I want to put it in my presentations when I present it to my clients. So that's how these our desire for visual stimulation and sensory stimulation is that strong. So my advice to writers: keep writing for sure, but supplement it with some imagery, supplement it with some other forms of conveying what you have in your mind, like your unique scene of that experience that you're trying to convey. It'll go much farther. And then start to look at, hey, how can I publish my book in a virtual reality? How can I create a that kind of thing? I mean, AI is going to start producing videos very soon. So think about publishing a video book alongside with your audiobook and your written book.
There you go. And I love that. And it all comes back to storytelling, which is the basis of it anyway. So to me, it all comes back to writing it down. It's just how are we going to put it out in the world is going to change and evolve. And how soon do you think that's going to happen? Like if you had to make
by the end of the year, by the
end of the year. There you go. So if you're a writer watching this or a want to be writer watching this and you haven't written your book yet, apparently we need to get on it fast because you're going to have to work on some visuals and some audio stimulation and some virtual reality coming down the pipe. So the era of just writing a book and seeing it go to print is definitely shifting. And even as an author, I know this as a writer and a ghostwriter. And I think it's incredible what you've had to say today. We went a little bit long, but I felt like it was an important conversation. Thank you so much, Manuj. I know I'm going to have you back because I have all kinds of questions about ethical considerations and where we should be placing our time and energy and efforts. But I think this is a really good start. And for those of you that are a little scared, I'm with you, but I'm also really excited about it. So thank you so much for that. And we'll talk again soon.
Thank you.